We're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna just continue on what I was saying um, just a few minutes ago. Look, at the Rogers Center, like I said, Kendrick Lamar performed not like us, not once but twice. Performed performed on both nights to be exact. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he did the second night because I don't have all the footage and stuff like that. I mean, I would have to look on YouTube and peer through all the footage. I mean, because it was a lot of stuff that was posted. It was a lot of stuff that was posted up that for both those nights, and I get them. I get them constantly on my phone. So, like, I didn't. I'll get the notifications and stuff like that. But he performed. I believe he did perform Not Like Us on both nights, to be exact. But I know that he performed a lot of other stuff. He performed some songs from GNX. I know he had SZA. SZA was also performed alongside him. I only get Kendrick Lamar's. I only get a lot of his uploads. I don't get SZA stuff. I don't get her uploads. But I guess I'll be sure to find some way how to get her stuff. But she also performed as well. You know, it was both of them that performed both nights in Toronto. So it was interesting to see both perform their songs, their respective songs, 30 for 30. I believe on GNX they performed. They had Luther. They had the Luther song, and they performed that song that night as well, along with 30 for 30. So I mean, it was a monumental night. I mean, look, you're in your rival's neighborhood, and it was a lot of doubts whether or not you were going to sell out shows. You were going to have the fans booing you. You know, Toronto for that matter. Let me just point this one out. Let me just point this, and it's important for me to point this out. Why is it? And I gotta say this: if you're so beloved in your city, if you're so beloved in your city, right? And I'm sure there's fans on both ends. I mean, there are people in Toronto. I mean, we can't be oblivious and think that there are not going to be people in Toronto that's not going to like Drake. I mean, of course. But then what this tour and the turnout showed us, because what we seen in the uploads, because I wasn't absolutely there, so I don't know. What this actually showed us was that there were millions of people, and I'm talking about in Toronto, Canada, to be exact. There was millions of people who showed up for this concert. There was millions of people who showed up for this concert. If you are so beloved, why was there millions of people who showed up for this concert? And then on top of that, you were supposed to have sabotaged the whole thing. You were supposed to have sabotaged it by leading on some type of campaign, some kind of protest, so you can stop him from performing, or you can sabotage the whole thing. Like, basically turn people away from the Ticketmaster booth. You could turn them away, and then they all can just go home. Or if they was going to still go in there, they was going to go in there with OVO shirts on, with OVO hoodies, I'm sorry, and boo the guy. So that's what you thought was going to happen. So Drake was at this level. I'm not even going to call it petty. I mean, it is petty, but then it's also pathetic. It's pathetic. Here is a guy who turned around and hit UMG, or basically just turned out with a lawsuit saying, you know what, I'm a sue because I didn't like how things turned out. I didn't like the fact that I lost this battle, so I'm going to sue UMG, and I'm also going to sue for this whole thing. I like how Kendrick Lamar is getting all this momentum, and that's what you decided to turn around and do. You decided to sue, and so in turn, Kendrick Lamar said, "Oh, okay, says that's what you want to do. All right, I'm gonna do this over here then." You basically wanted to sue for defamatory remarks made on Not Like Us. And you wanted to stop the record from even being performed. So that was the statement that Kendrick Lamar made that night at the Rogers Center, both nights. Because I believe he performed the record both nights. He performed it. He wanted to stop the record from even being performed. He wanted to stop the record. He basically wanted to stop the record. He already was like out, like he wanted to sabotage. I thought when I heard the whole thing, I was like, wow, this dude actually felt the need that he needed to be. He needed to have people posted outside, give away free pizzas, and give away OVO merch. Free pizzas, free OVO hoodies, to be exact. Wow. Give away hoodies and stuff like that. And to sabotage a monumental night that Kendrick Lamar ended up having anyway. So that's what you thought. You thought you was doing something. And so this is what happens. So now here we are. And the latest is that he spotted a politician. Oh, I'm hearing a lot of other things. Never mind about the politician. The politician who, the Canadian politician who in turn had to apologize to Drake. I don't see why you had to apologize for being at a show. I mean, you're a whole grown ass man. And even if you did go by yourself, you didn't have to apologize for that. But maybe you even have kids who love Kendrick Lamar and SZA. And so you went, you went on the strength of them. But I mean, it's like what are we doing here? But also, I heard some other crap. That happened. Here's some other crap that happened. Now, I don't know if this is true because, like, shout outs to a lot of the bloggers, Damn D, Big Kish, Screwface Jean, Big Zo TV. Shout outs to all those guys. Like, I check out all their podcasts and stuff. Like, I check out all of that. Like, I'm subscribed to every last one of their channels. And what I was hearing was what I seen was something that was beyond pathetic, if you ask me. This is what I seen. Well, I'm not sure who reported it. I believe it was Damn D because I was posted on his I seen a few of his videos. He was talking about it, and he was telling me that some of some OVO goons is looking for Kendrick Lamar. Top 5 to supposedly Hitter J3 was in Toronto, and Top 5 was nowhere to be found. Stuff like that. I know about that stuff. But then something else is a real alarming. Supposedly Drake was supposed to enlist some of his OVO cohorts or goonies, if you would like to call them, scour the whole Rogers Center and I guess doing their little. They were scouring the seats. How can I put this? They were trying to get. I guess they may have got into. And now this is what I heard. I don't know how true this is. That they so basically what I'm saying is that they were checking all of the seats that were being occupied by fans alike or whoever attended. And I don't know if you go through Ticketmaster, you go through the ticket booth to find that out. Because, they think that they're so important in Toronto that they felt that Drake had went to all-time low and felt the need that he needed to check all of the seats to see who attended. And I guess that's how he found out that the politician was there in attendance. So it was one of those things where he stooped to old time low and he felt the need he had to do that. I don't know how true that is. But if that's true, then it's not even just petty, it's just pathetic. Because this is just how bothered he is about his rival, about somebody being in his city. I mean, I guess if it was me, but then we didn't have none of that energy when Meek Mill and Drake was going at it with each other. And you called yourself humiliating Meek Mill's, supposedly you humiliated him here in Philly. But whatever. I'm not even going, we're not even going to backtrack to that. I don't even follow Meek Mill nor Drake to even know so much about all of that. All I know is about the whole back-to-back thing, that this and all that stuff like that. But with this whole Kendrick and Drake situation, it keeps dragging on and dragging on and dragging on because it's just one of those things where, people, and it's not, and by the way, it's not even people that's dragging it on. I think it's more of Drake dragging this whole thing on. He's dragging it on. Because he keeps continuing, instead of just moving on or instead of just ignoring the whole thing or just maybe. I mean, I don't know. How can you ignore a record Not Like Us being played so many times? And it's just a constant reminder. So I guess for Drake, he would be bothered by that. Because it's he's also suing for the record. He's suing for the record because the record's being played and he feels like it's defaming him. So I guess that's why he's also saying, that's why he's also hurt by this whole thing. And to say that Drake is not hurt, he is hurt. He's hurt by the whole thing. He's hurt by everything. He's hurt by the fact that Kendrick Lamar performed live and sold out in a venue in his own hometown. He's hurt by that. That to me is another statement that Kendrick made. It's another statement. And it's going to follow him throughout his whole career. Everything that's going on right now is going to follow Drake in his whole career. Whatever's going on between both Kendrick and Drake is going to follow the both of them. It just seems like on the right side of where we're looking at things, it seems like one man is standing the test of time while the other is just struggling just to even keep his name, alive in the public's eye. And he's doing everything in his power to stay relevant, to stay in the public's eye. So he's trying to do everything to stay prominent, to be the darling, and everybody, in public. And being as though he's a public figure, and he's trying to use, he's trying to use that online presence. He wants to. It's almost like he's trying to make a name for himself all over again, and it's just not working for him. Kai Cenat, him and Kai Cenat was supposed to have promote some video for his new album, and they were supposed to be live on stream to do it, and that didn't quite work out the way that he liked it to work out. So it's a lot of things, man. It's a lot of things that has happened that that's happening great for Kendrick, but then things that are not going so well for Drake. And even if Drake feels like he did get a win by making a Canadian politician apologize for something that he didn't need to apologize for, even though he may think he won, or he sees it as some sort of victory, some small victory of sorts, it still makes him look like as he called the politician a goof, it still makes him look like a goof. Because it's like you just felt the need that you needed to chastise a grown man. You need to chastise a grown man by, you felt like you wanted to grill him for being at a show. And then I didn't know why the politician had to turn around and say, "Oh, I apologize to you, man. I was not there for Kendrick. I was there for SZA." Bro, you was there for both Kendrick and SZA. Stop it. You were there for both of them. Even if you were there by yourself or you were there with children, I believe that the man was there with his children. That's what I believe. He was there for his children, because I don't know what grown man is going to go to a concert by himself. I mean, he does have a family. So as we've seen online, he does have a family. So therefore, I would think that you would be there for your family. You would be there with your family. It may it be that you brought your son or daughter, to the show. And whether they were there for Kendrick Lamar, it didn't matter. You paid a ticket. This is what I didn't understand about the apology. You paid a ticket for both Kendrick Lamar and SZA. You didn't pay a ticket for just SZA, because it would just be a SZA concert. No, it wasn't just a SZA concert. It was both Kendrick Lamar and SZA. So you were there for both of them. And I think that there were clips that were being shown of him bopping his head and dancing to Not Like Us and several other performances that Kendrick Lamar have done during the show. So, hey, shout outs to all of the pages out there, man, like that I'm subscribed to, because they really give you some emphasis on some stuff. And even if you think some things are fabricated, you can think that all you want to, but at the same token, these performances were like you could think that, but these performances were so electrifying that it would have anybody out their seat. It would have me out my seat. If I wasn't a fan of Kendrick Lamar at this point would have me out of my seat, because I think that he puts on a good performance, as I always see. I did catch his pop out joint. I caught that before, with the joint that he did in LA. I caught his Super Bowl performance. And both of those performances were electrifying. So it was enough to make me a fan. Even if I didn't know Kendrick Lamar before, it would be enough for me to know who Kendrick Lamar is now. Because he is just that electrifying as an artist. So, I mean, dude, you didn't have to apologize for something that you rightfully so was supposed to. You attended. You did what anybody. You did what you wanted to do. That's it. All you did was do what you wanted to do. You don't have to answer to nobody. I mean, I'm sure my guy wouldn't. He won't see this, but however, again, if I was to give anybody some sort of advice, no one has to be afraid of anybody. I don't think that anybody should be afraid of no Drake. I don't give a shit whether you got money or not. I mean, yeah, come on. And I also seen something where Drake's new album is going to be called Iceman. I seen something about that yesterday. The guy just wants to be so hard. He wants to be hard. He tries his best to be, to want to be one of them hard rappers. And this might be the first time that this might be the first time that I'm listening to it. I don't know. I'm not going to, just like the Lil Wayne album, I'm not listening to it now. I only listen to the Lil Wayne album when I tuned into a streamer, reviewing it. So that's going to be the same thing with this Drake album. The first time listening to a Drake album full on is when a streamer is reviewing it. So that's what's going to happen. I don't have no desire to listen to Drake. I'm not on this whole campaign. Yeah, let's just hate Drake because it's cool. I've been not like Drake before anybody had an opinion about whoever. I've been not like the dude. I didn't care for it. It's not so much I didn't like him as his personality. Things are being pointed out here and there that makes me not like him. But I don't know him personally not to like him per se. But like if you hear stuff about people and whatever, and the things that you hear about them, it's not going to make you like them, anymore. I just don't care for the guy's music. His style is not. It's just not my cup of tea. So that's that. So all right, I'm just going to end this off by saying that what's for you is for you. You know what I'm saying? That's just what this whole thing is about. What's for certain people is for certain people. You try to take away something from someone and it just ends up blowing in your face. You know what I mean? Simply, not to be religious here, but God shows you. God shows out in front of your enemies. You know what I'm saying? So, when things are for you and you receive all of your accolades and stuff, just know that because it's what you're deserving of. That's just plain and simple. I don't know. It just seems like Kendrick Lamar has some type of voodoo, something working in synchronicity with him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just really that dude right now. And you just really got to commend him for that. There's not one person. I haven't seen this in like, I don't know how long. I don't think I ever seen this. Where a person, we're talking about a year just passed. It was just last year that this whole thing happened. Last year, this whole thing, I think it was the beginning of last year, this whole shit happened. And here we are, we're in summer of 2025, and this thing is still going. It's still lingering. It's crazy. You would think that this whole thing wrapped up within a year, but it's still going. This might be the longest feud. This might be the longest running feud in music history, period. This might be the longest running feud in music history. And yes, this feud, and that's what we're going to call it. We're not going to call it a battle. We're going to call it a feud. This feud is probably one of the most, yes, and people are saying it's iconic, what has happened between them two. This is the longest running feud. And this thing might go on for another 4 or 5 years. It might go on. Who knows? You can't help but to embrace it. You can't help but to be more magnetized towards it because it's just, for some it's exciting, for others it's not so exciting. Most people don't care about it. If you ask me, because I love hip hop music, and a lot of stuff that they call out here is not hip hop, but I'm going to go ahead and say this, that when it comes to hip hop, And when it comes to someone who represents the culture in the best way possible, Kendrick Lamar is our guy. And he does what any amazing artist is supposed to do, and that's represent the culture right. And this is why I tip my hat off to Kendrick. You know? So, with that being said, I'm signing off. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of my point on some things and touch on that. This is probably going to be the last time you're going to hear me touch on this. But, however, peace and blessings to you.